Feel being back, being with her.
Being with her, it was great. It was just so nice to see her. You know, she's on great form. She's always got a great sense of humour with me, and I'm just making sure that she's, you know, protected and got the right people around.
Now, I must admit, I just looked at that and saw a man talking. I wasn't really getting more beyond what he was saying.
So essentially, one of the things I look for is something called a micro-expression. Now, a micro-expression is a fleeting flash of emotion. So what has been discovered is that even though different cultures and different locations have their own kind of culture, so for example, if we went to, say, New Guinea, they probably wouldn't know what a handshake was, whereas the 7 basic laws of emotion are showing happiness, sadness, anger, surprise, fear, contempt and disgust. So what I look for is when someone is saying something, are the non-verbals are they congruent with what that person is saying or not? So not in terms of lying, but with that I see what we call a sadness micro-expression. So when Harry's speaking in that particular
and he's talking about the Queen.
Yeah, I think he's quite torn between, you know, being over there and the UK. So he's feeling genuine sadness at not being in the thick of it almost.
Oh.
And is it just that? What was he making that body language with? Was it his mouth? Was it his eyes?
So the eyebrows basically come together and the mouth sort of droops. And also, when people tend to go like with the lips, that's almost like a self-reassurance gesture.
Gosh, if you wore a mask and were in COVID, you would miss 50%.
Absolutely.
That must be awful.
So in terms of the facial muscles engaging, and then the lips, and then also there's a change in physiology. So what I look for is people often get the deception aspect incorrect, because when people are under pressure, there'll be an emotional shift. So I'm looking for emotional shifts in people's body language. And what we saw within that was Harry's lips, if you watch that, will go quite pale. And that's to do with an emotional shift. So we've got that, we've got...
is that him guarding his emotion?
Yes.
Is that him knowing how he feels and unconsciously endeavouring not to show it?
Yes.
Is it stiff upper lip?
Absolutely, and there's also what we call a linguistic deflection, which in real terms means he's effectively avoiding the question, not because he's got anything to hide.
But he did look down to the left.
That's correct, yeah.
And is that what you call deflection then?
Well, when people look down on the left, because he's right-handed, he's running the dialogue in his head before he responds. We call that internal dialogue.
Ah.
By the opposite, Prince William's left-handed, and so he accesses feelings quite a lot.
Oh.
So Prince William will look down on the left, but because he's left-handed, it's reversed.
Ah.
I'm always running everything through a filter all the time.
I think my eyes go like, oh.
Even in that 10-second clip, we see about what we call seven or eight sort of red flags almost of a shift in emotion.